Welcome boys and girls. In today's video, we are doing the last step towards the SquareBody Overlander build. We're installing the bed rack. So I'm going to introduce you to the bed rack, tell you about it, and then we're going to start installing it on the truck. So let's get into it. With the rack being made out of 12 gauge steel, it has a high load rating. 1,500 pounds, dynamic and static. So that means while we're on the trail with the tent, the shower room, and the awning on the truck, we will have zero issues about the bed rack flexing, cracking, breaking, anything like that, since it is made out of 12 gauge steel, and it should be able to handle anything that we throw at it while it's on the square body. What I like about it is it's overkill, and you guys can see with the build of the truck so far, I've kind of gone overkill with everything. This version for the 8-foot beds comes with 6 arms. It should be easy to identify what arms go on which side just by the stake holes in the bed and going over those and covering them up. Along with the arms that come off the bed, it does come with 8 molly panels that bolt to help keep it supported and rigid also. And it comes with tons of different mounting holes and these spots to run all the molly through and to mount any cases or shovels, axes, anything you ever need to mount to your bed rack should be able to easily handle those. Then these are the supports that go from arm to arm, these 4 right here. And then these 2 go on the top to help keep it nice and rigid, kind of like a backbone type design. The bed rack does come with all the hardware you need, and I also did pick up a couple of accessories. I did get the grab handles so I can mount them on the back of the rack to help pull ourselves up into the bed of the truck. So if we need to grab any of our gear. And this is the winch mount. The rack itself is actually strong enough to handle a 2,000-pound ATV or side-by-side winch. So I figured might as well pick it up because you never know if we get our 3-wheeler working and want to take it on any trips. I could easily winch it up into the bed of the truck so I'm not killing myself trying to lift it up back there. So we will get that installed also. So now let's get to mounting it in the bed of the truck. So one thing I really liked about working with Tim at Heavy Metal Off-Road is just he's the owner of the company and it's a small company. So I know my money is staying here in the US. It's US made and I know where my dollar is going and who it's helping out. And also, if I have any questions, anything like that, I can easily reach out to the guy and I don't have to worry about customer service or anything like that, or, dealing with a nightmare if I have an issue with my product. So that's extremely important to me. And I know that I'm getting a quality US made product. So I'm going to keep going on assembling this side, get all the bolts in there, get them snugged down so then we could get it on this side of the truck. And then I could completely build the other side so we can start putting this thing together. Well, this is the progress for the bed rack so far. I got the side molly panels on, everything bolted down nice and tight. And then I did get the rails to the other side bolted on and just snugged up so then we could do some adjusting once we get it fully on the truck. I'm going to get this out of the shipping container now, and then I'm going to build the other side. And then from there, we're going to assemble it out of the shipping container on the ground. And then we're going to lift it up into the truck, put it on the bed sides, and then do some adjusting from there. And then after that, we'll mark out the holes and start the drilling to fully mount it to the bed rails. But this thing is a monster, and I'm extremely happy with it. It's definitely strong enough. So me and my dad have gotten this half of the rack on the truck. It looks a little sketchy with all the wood blocks holding it and everything, but it is definitely stable with just how heavy this rack is in general. But I'm putting together the second half over here. Once that is done, we're going to pick up the rack, set it up on this side, and then it goes up into those channels. And then from there, I can get the bolts finger tight or get them snugged down, and then we can really get it dialed in with the gap, the bed gap right here and everything like that. Make sure it's good to go. And from there, I could start marking holes to drill out to bolt this thing to the bed of the truck. Here it is. I got the grab handles already mounted on it. It is all to the length and the width we need. I just need to put some clamps. Well, I need to remove these bottom molly panels so I could get in here with the drill to drill the top holes to secure it, and then I could drill the side holes. But yeah, it is looking good. I am extremely happy with it. Definitely is going to be more than what we need. And once I get these bolts on here and it secured down to the bed, we will get the tent and the awning and the shower on it. But that is the next step. I'm going to remove these bottom molly panels all around it so I could get access to these top holes, so I could hit it with a punch, so I could drill it out to bolt it down. And then we got these tabs in here so I can mark it out, drill it, and bolt it to the inner lip of the bed also, so this rack will not go anywhere. I do have other plans for it, like adding lights and stuff like that, just to help light up camp at night, and add some lights along the center section here so that we can light up the cargo area, so if we need to get anything out of the bed in the middle of the night, we're not doing it in the dark. But it is in a good spot. It looks really good. I didn't really film too much of putting it into the bed of the truck because of how heavy it is, and just me and my dad struggling trying to get it into the bed. Would have been comedy, but yeah, it would have been difficult. So we did get in the bed, everything all adjusted, and we're good. So I will remove these bottom molly panels, and then we could clamp it down and start drilling holes to fully mount it to the bed. This is what I got in mind, clamping down the side bracket so it leaves the top hole open, but it is nice and flush. And then there on the sides, if you can see that side's maybe better. But yeah, it is nice and flush with the inner lip of the bed rail so that we could get a nice mark to drill it out. So I think I will mark it out so we can drill it, and then from there I'll bolt on this side, and then we'll move over to the other side and do the same thing. Then once those are nice and tight, I'm going to loosen up these bolts up top just to help spread the rack for whatever difference that it made with us bolting it down, since you can kind of see that gap right there with the bracket. As you can see down the row, everything is nice and tight. We are good to go with the bed rack, got everything adjusted and good to go. The only thing I couldn't really do is put in the side bolts here for the brackets on the inner lip of the bed because the toolbox is in the way, but I got the nice and clamped to the side, tightened down on top, so it should be more than enough to hold it for now. And then the plan is to do the inner lip bolts when the next time I have the toolbox pulled out or moved, just because I don't have the clearance at the moment. But we are good to go. So the next step is over here, take the Jeep and pull the tent off of it. So I need to get the fasteners off of the roof rack of the tent. Once I do that, then I can pull the tent off of the Jeep, throw it on the bed rack of the truck, and we will be good to go. So that's the next step. The bed rack is on and fastened and good to go. Everything is good with that. The bed rack is good to go on the truck, and then let's get the tent on it. And from there, we'll do the awning and the shower room. I got all the fasteners off of the tent, so we are good to go to pull this tent off of the Jeep and throw it onto the rack of the truck. If any of you guys have questions about, all right, what's the future of the Jeep? It's not going anywhere. I think my plan is to turn it into a rock crawler though. So maybe some tons, 40s, you know, just do it all up like that. But if we ever do camp out of it, we will be ground camping, since the SquareBody will have the rooftop tent. Or we might do a real like low profile, lightweight rooftop tent on the roof of the Jeep. That's just easy to remove and put back on for if we ever do want to take a trip in the Jeep, but also use it for rock crawling. So it's kind of the future of the Jeep I have in mind, and then make the SquareBody the Overlander. But now that I got the tent loose, all the bolts are off it and everything, we're gonna grab the tent and throw it on the roof rack of the truck, and I will get you guys once it's up there. Well, as you guys seen, we got the tent from the Jeep onto the truck. We are good to go. I did have to run to Ace Hardware to get bolts to secure the cross rail of the tent to the bed rack itself, so I got that. So from there, we can bolt on the tent, get it fully secured down, and that will not be going anywhere. Then the next step is get the shower and the awning bolted to the side of the bed rack, and then we will be done. The tent is tight and secured down. I did have to pull the tent about an inch towards the passenger side because as I was messing with it, I put the ladder on there just to make sure the ladder was long enough. And the side of the ladder contacted the bed side. So I pulled the tent about an inch towards the passenger side, which shouldn't really be noticeable at all, but it will help clearance that ladder so I don't scratch and mess up the side of the truck with the ladder. And I am gonna cut out a piece of foam too, just to act as a little buffer between the bed of the truck and the ladder, just as protection also. But it is good to go. Tent's on there, tightened down. Now I'm just going to grab the awning and kind of get an idea of how that will secure on there, and then we will try to get the awning on there. So we have an issue with the Taruka shower room and awning. The hardware coming out of the back of it is for the arms for both of them, and it does not clearance on the bed rack. It'll just sit on where we're mounting it and destroy the powder coat, and it won't even work. So I did pick up some longer hardware, just some grade 8 stuff, and I bought some nuts that are bigger than the bolt, so then we can have it kind of spacer off of the bed rack to clear this hardware. So it's kind of the plan. It will protrude maybe half an inch, 3/4 of an inch off the rack, but it shouldn't really be noticeable, and it should let us use all of our old gear from the Jeep on the truck without needing to buy any new stuff. So it's kind of the plan. I'm gonna get both of them outfitted with the new hardware so then I can mount it to the bed rack, and when I am done, you guys will see the tent, shower room, and awning on the bed rack. Well, the truck is done and good to go. Got the shower room and the awning on there. Using the nuts as spacers idea worked out perfect, so it's not as much of an angle as the bed rack itself, and everything should open up and be pretty level, or more level than it would have been. But I am going to leave the molly panels off of the front so we have access to the toolbox, and then I'm going to put them back on the rear so, you know, kind of looks good, looks better, and I could still get everything out of the toolbox without needing to climb through all of it in the bed of the truck. I will have a link to Tim's website, his Instagram, and his YouTube down below, Heavy Metal Off-Road, so I'll have links to all of that down in the description of the video. Also, comment, see if I did anything right, anything wrong, whatever you would change, how you like the build of the truck, and if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel so you can follow along on the adventures of the SquareBody and as we continue to build it, and the Jeep. So I want to thank you so much if you've gotten this far, and I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye, you guys.